other thing is you're going to want to have your knives and utensils available. Your big knife is unlikely to be used at this stage, so probably can go ahead and put that away. You're going to rely on some smaller tools. You're going to rely on probably like a paring knife or a smooth edged knife, and then maybe you'll have something that has a little bit of serration to do some of the rounder sort of cuttings. Realistically, the one tool that might be really handy to have out of that kit is this. So this is the Sawtooth Stabby tool. It's pretty handy, it's quite delicate, and so you can really get in for some of the small stuff. So maybe if you were trying to do teeth or something like that. I'm going to try to get through it without using this. We'll see how it goes. And finally, a couple more final points. You want to generally work from the bottom up on the pumpkin, but I would caveat that with you want to work with getting the delicate bits done first, personally, and then I do sort of the larger chunks. It might go terribly wrong. Be prepared for that. Take big chunks like eyes or big mouths and do them in 2 sets. Stop the full process. So, you know, you carve half of a large segment out, get rid of it, and then carve the other segment. That way you're really reducing the risk of the pumpkin snapping. But in the end, you might want to have 2 pumpkins, just in case. Usually just give the kids or your partner something to gunk it all out, and then, you know, you got a backup just in case. So I'm going to start carving this, and we're going to see how it goes. Tips and tricks: remove your lid, hold the pumpkin while you're carving it, be delicate, move it around, pop things out from the inside. Don't try to pull them out, always pop out. And we're just gonna go for it. So, time lapse. Nope, nope, nope. Then. So, I hope you enjoyed that. While I was doing it, I realized that I stopped and made a few crucial decisions that I thought might help if I walked you through them. So, while I was carving the pumpkin, initially I realized that I had quite this thin, big mouth, and I went, should follow my own advice, should do it in 2 pieces. Made it nice and simple, not much of a big deal at all. Didn't have to worry about the mouth. I did the eyes. I could do them in 1, but I recognized that when I do circles, I do half cuts that go about halfway into the pumpkin rind, and then I do smaller cuts all the way around. Then, once I make sure that I have the spherical shape that I need, only then do I actually cut all the way through the pith of the pumpkin. So that worked really well, but I realized that I had quite an angle on the smaller eye. So I had to come in and I carved out a bit of the right eye. Now, the way you can kind of tell that you know you need to do that is, like I said, you put your candle into your pumpkin, you kind of test and see what it looks like. On that first view, I saw that, you know, there wasn't really as much light as I had hoped for, so I decided, I'm going to carve the mouth out a bit more. And I didn't make the opening any wider. What I did was I shaved down the inside of the pumpkin a bit. I angled my knife down so that it was only carving the inside of the pumpkin. That kind of gives it more light as it's going out, and then gives it a sharper edge from where you're seeing it from the viewer's side of things. And then I also thought, oh, I can probably get a little nose in there, so I shoved a little nose on in there as well. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. Fun little pumpkin, didn't take too long, and honestly, pretty hard to mess up. You're doing really thin lines. I tried to do a bit of a loop on the edge of the mouth. It didn't quite work, but I'm happy with it anyway. So that's my pumpkin done, and now we're going to move on to lighting and what happens when things start going wrong, and maybe even walk through iterations of how I improved another pumpkin. Alright then, y'all, we did it! Carved some pumpkins. Gotta say, I'm proud of you. And remember, whoever makes the spookiest pumpkin and sends it in for competition, there is a prize to be won from the Software Circus folks. I want to say you did a great job. Remember, pumpkin carving is fun. Don't get too wrapped up in it. And now you have the piece de resistance, the point where you get to really light them up. So I'd recommend use a tea light, real easy, not too much of a problem, cheap. They last almost no time at all. That's the only problem. So maybe actually, now that I think about it, perhaps get one of those little electric ones. They're pretty good. You can put these guys out. They'll last for a while. Kind of depends on what sort of environment you got outside. If it's cold, they last longer. If it's hot, they're gonna rot quick. And remember, if they start rotting, you got predators, you got wild animals, you got wild kids. They can get stinky, they get mushy. Probably throw them away as soon as they start rotting. You'll probably get, I don't know, 4 or 5 days out of them. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you feel like you learned something. And yeah, I'm gonna go take this baby outside, and I'm gonna name him. I think I'm gonna name him Reginald. His name's gonna be Reginald.